Hey everyone. All right, Gardner's here. Warrior Wednesday, writing reflection. It's Wednesday, December 23rd. Trust this finds you well, wherever this finds you. So, writing reflection today, I'm excited. I'm excited to share something from my journey. As you know, this is about just things that have come to me through my process of writing. Uh, and today is day 195 day of this journey, and I wanted to talk about music. Um, Music. I have relived my life story in this process, and I've also relived and reconnected to how powerful music is for me in my life. And I truly think I truly believe it is probably the most powerful force that I've had through my journey, with me through my journey, and uh, through through everything from the imagination of a young child, or at least 10 years old, when my dad's transistor radio would start playing tunes that I would I would latch onto a voice, an emotion that I was too young to process at that time, but something stirred inside me. All the way to the teen years, and being a child of in the 80s, and the hair metal and the hair bands, and all of that stuff, and the folk singers, and even my love for classical music. Even in my early teens, my teenage years, I was drawn to Mozart, and the Beethovens, and some of these powerful emotional landscapes that were created. And specifically, though, when I moved to New York City, and being alone in such a populated place, that I really that's when I realized in this writing journey that music has always been my best friend, uh, because no matter what, day in and day out, music never left my side. It was the one thing that I could count on, literally 24/7, that would be there with the push of a button, would be there with a spin of a CD, or a phone, or a shout out to Hey Google, right? It would be there in so many facets that I had forgotten. And this is what I love about the power of music. Time has a way of diffusing many memories that were once powerful in our lives. Um, as time rolls on, these conversations, these moments that we can kind of maybe have in our lives, and we can remember, and we don't really know exactly. We can just kind of see a blurred image of sitting on a dock fishing, or having a conversation on a street corner in New York City. But we lose a lot with time, unfortunately. And the one amazing thing about music is music does the opposite. Music seems to be timeless. And I'm going to give you an example. The other day I was writing a scene in the book, and I was rewriting a scene, and specifically when I first really heard of music, and it was a memory that I had completely forgotten. And I was a young boy, and we were out in the back patio on a hot summer night, and my dad had his transistor radio on, and this voice came on. I was probably 9 years old, maybe 8 years old. This voice came on, and it just, for being such a young boy, it blew me away. And it was the song "Close to You" by the Carpenters, Karen Carpenter, who to this day, if I hear her voice, I completely melt and stop what I'm doing, and I just turn to mush. And I remember this moment of my parents having their moment to the voice and to the emotion, to the being present moment that music allowed. And I had completely forgotten about this moment, but in this writing process, I connected to it, and it it just, I was like, how could I have forgotten this moment all these years? Because it's such a powerful catalyst moment for me. And so when I started to kind of dive into that, it was just like, oh my God. And as writers do, we take off and we create on top of that, and that spark becomes the life force with which we give our keyboards ammunition to create a beautiful story. And so that's what I love. I love that music can reopen doors to memories that had been lost. Um, and in a kind of a circle of life, if you will, there's a great video that's been going around Facebook now for probably about a month or so, maybe a little longer. Beautiful post of a prima ballerina from Russia who's struggling with Alzheimer's. And they play, I think it was Swan Lake. Actually, I'm almost positive it's Swan Lake. Then they play the song for her. And all of a sudden, that music does something to her and to her soul. And she starts to move. And she starts to remember and do her choreography from 50, 60 years, 60 some years earlier. And that's the beauty of music. That's the power of music. And if you haven't seen that video, I would Google it. I would go on Facebook and search for it. And they actually show clips of her when she was doing it. So you could see the younger version of her doing these moves while she's sitting there in her chair. Blew me away. All that to say, though, that type of power has been with me in my journey, and I'm blessed for it. And I think music has become, probably is my number one tool that I use day in and day out religiously. Whether I'm down, whether I'm contemplative, introspective, excited, jacked up, on flipping fire, emotional, sad, there's always something in a series of notes that speaks to my soul. And it's infused in my writing. And so in my book, it's become clear that I live, James Gardner lives in a constant soundtrack. And yeah, so I just wanted to share that with you. There's nothing educational or some really points to take home and change your world with, and that's not the purpose of these reflections anyways. However, for any of you out there that maybe looking for a catalyst to change something in their life, looking for something to ignite that spark in them for change, for growth, for whatever it is, Music can be a powerful, powerful tool. It can be a beautiful Band-Aid. It can be a soul comforting pillow. And above all, it can be your best friend, because it's surely been mine. All right. Love you guys. Thank you so much. 195 days of this journey. And I look forward to more and sharing more and more with you. And eventually, we'll be sharing some excerpts as well as we move forward with these writing reflections. So I love you guys. Mad love to the courageous. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. You'll see me on day, got to do the math, 202 next week before the end of the year with another writing reflection. All right. Gardeners out. Cheers.